John in Delmar, New York writes to me, Paul, as I'm looking around for new high-quality equipment and getting all tangled up in the specs on THD, IMD, SNR, signal-to-noise ratio, frequency response, etc., it occurs to me that the weak link in the audio chain is probably my ears. I know each of my ears has a frequency response curve, and they are by no means flat. Well, join the crowd. So does it make sense to chase gear with exquisite specs when that performance exceeds your ear's ability to respond? Yes. And here's why. You know, we're not machines. Our hearing is kind of all over the map. If you look at even somebody who's got perfect hearing, it's probably not as flat and as good as, say, running through this mixing board or through an amplifier. But that's okay, because the flatness of a piece of equipment is important, and its distortion is important. And we hear differences in those frequency response curves and distortion curves with any set of ears. And if, as I just mentioned, all ears are defective in that they are not perfect, we have to remember something that I rant on about all the time. It is not just your ears as perfect or imperfect microphones. It's your ear-brain connection. That's the big deal. Think of it this way. Let's say that my two ears are replaced with two microphones. They're okay. They're kind of wobbly and all that. If I take that output and I run it through a fancy digital signal processor, a DSP, I can adjust for all of that to come out with a pretty flat response that would be wonderful. If I'm taking the output of this through these microphones, and this has, I don't know, IM distortion, I can correct for a lot of that through this digital signal processing. Now imagine the digital signal processing is actually our brains, which is exactly what happens. So when you learn to recognize voices, facial recognition as a child, you know, your first 2, 3, 4, 5 years are your brain's connections are developing with your eyes and your ears and trying to make sense out of everything so that you know when mama talks, that's mama. And unless you have serious hearing impairments, and I'm assuming that you don't, then your ear and brain have made up for all the problems so that you can accurately identify, like that, the sound of your mother's voice, the sound of a violin, the sound of a cricket. You know those sounds regardless of how imperfect these ears are. And once that filtering and adjusting has gone on, now when you go to listen to a piece of equipment, you hear the problems in the equipment because it deviates from your standardized norm. So, probably a bit too deep to really get into it there, but that's the essence of it. So yeah, all this matters. All that matters a lot. And it doesn't matter about your hearing. It really doesn't. You've gotten used to your hearing. And now it's time to enjoy music as you've never heard it before through a high-end audio system. So good luck out there. Have fun. Talk to you later. Bye.